This is Too Long for a Voice Note, a podcast about everything and nothing at the same time, presented by Claire
and Enzo. Our podcast is produced in London. Some conversations are just too long for a voice note.
Hey, he's Enzo.
And she's Claire.
And this is Too Long for a Voice Note.
Hello.
Welcome back. How are you guys? Welcome back to another episode.
Too Long for a Voice Note.
A podcast about everything and nothing at the same time.
How are we, Claire?
We're good.
How are you?
So this is our first episode back after we went on a very big trip.
Oh yeah,
we went to Bali for like 10 days. We were away for like 10 days. It feels like,
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's so cool. It's true. That's the first episode after the trip. It's true. So this episode probably will be filled with like wisdom.
Maybe.
And like peace.
So
eat, pray, love.
It was very eat, pray, love. Did you find that? You can see why Bali is that kind of like spiritual, kind of cliche place, because there is something in the air there.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can feel the like the peace and the calmness and like the, I don't know, it has something. What are your like 3 top things from the trip? Like that you like the most and that you enjoy the most?
I really enjoyed the sound bath. So we did a sound bath, which is basically where, I don't know if you guys kind of like meditate or if you do yoga classes, sometimes they bring like sound healing into that, but they were like massive gongs, so you kind of lay down and then a guy's talking you through it, and then you're meditating.
The place was quite culty, right?
You
thought they would kill us for a second as well.
So it's basically wild what your brain does when you're meditating. I mean, I meditate every day, but I think this is like an hour. It was like, wow. And like your thoughts are mental. So, I mean, in my case, we got like a welcome juice. Really nice. And then we were laying down and I was like, yeah, for sure, the juice was poisoned. It's a cult. They're going to kill it. It's a mass suicide. Like, definitely. And then you're like, no, Claire, come on. No, don't do that. And then we were singing one of the, Raw Alejandro. We were singing one of Raw's songs, and then we were just finding it really funny that this guy is like, Raw Alejandro. And then that was like, I was like meditating, and I was like, Raw Alejandro.
Probably that's where it's like, let's find inner peace. To be fair, it was quite culty. I mean, it had like a very culty energy.
I'm going to insert some images so you guys get the vibe, but it was like very like
Illuminati as well, like
because all the triangles were there. But I liked it. What did you think of the sound bath?
I enjoyed it as well. It was very fun. I think I will do it again. I mean, if we have more time around the area, we'll do it once again because it was fun. I mean, it was like a nice meditation. It was also very relaxing and like comfortable, and like the whole experience with the sound. It was very different. So I think it was cool. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite things. I
like
as well.
The monkeys. They were funny. The monkeys were
I was not too fussed about the monkeys.
Really?
Like, I mean, it was a fun experience.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like. I mean, they didn't attack us, which is good.
They are scary.
They're scary, but they're minding their business.
They really are.
They're like in their own forest, and that's it. That was cool.
What did you enjoy? Which were the ones that you enjoyed?
I did enjoy a lot of the food. The food was amazing. I think everywhere, every single place we ate, even the most like, I don't know, more expensive one, most affordable places, like anywhere we go, like the food was amazing, like very fresh, fragrant, like it was like a lot of flavors everywhere, and it smells as well.
Totally.
Which I think is kind of like things I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
And the spiritual part, I get why, I mean, like the cliche of being spiritual there, it makes sense because like we saw like they had they make these offerings every single day to the gods to being I think because they are grateful for everything they have and all of that. So I think that's very interesting. They do that every day, right?
I think there's like a real link between like themselves and nature, because it's such a kind of like natural, like beautiful landscape. Like nature is like everywhere, whereas I think like we live in London, so you're quite removed from nature, but I think nature is really an everyday part of their life, and I think that makes it quite spiritual in a way, you know?
I think so, so like slow, everything's slower, everything is
it took us a minute to, well, I won't speak for anyone else, but it took me a minute to get used to the pace, but then you do get used to the pace of like just everything is a lot slower.
That's everything, right? You get used to at one point.
Yeah.
But definitely, even, if you go to a place and you're waiting for food, it may take a lot of time. For Londoners, it's a bit like, what's going on? Because you wait here for a coffee for 35 seconds and you're already like, why this is taking so long? There a coffee could be 20 minutes, and it's part of their culture, and you need to be also respectful of that, because that's how life there is, and you're basically like jumping into this, so you need to be
Very true.
Like run by the rules, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I really enjoy the food, the smells, and that part of like the time with yourself, with nature, and like, you know, I feel like I'm not specifically a really religious person or something like that, so I find very interesting to see like people that are very devoted to that, like every single, it's even more than going to the church, because I think people that, for example, Catholics, they go to the church, but probably not everyone goes every day.
No.
But they do the offerings every day, and like that's like a whole situation.
But it's kind of like a gratitude practice, as you say. I think, you know, more than anything, it's like, but it's they're really cute, you know, the offerings. Again, I'll insert a picture, but there's these kind of little like woven, like square, like offerings with flowers, and
very beautiful. Honestly.
Very beautiful.
So
it's such a good experience. But here we are.
Everyone should go to Bali.
Oh, definitely.
I would like to go back one day. Honestly,
I would too.
Really beautiful.
Yeah, me too.
Really beautiful experience overall.
With that being said, I think it's my week this week, right?
It is your week, Claire.
So it's time for
Claire's secret topic of the week.
I actually have to be honest that I had another topic planned, but I feel I wasn't in the mood for it.
We don't care, Claire. We really don't care about your feelings, about your topics.
Well, anyway.
What happened with your topics? Why you changed your mind?
I just didn't feel like I wanted to. It was just a bit dense, let's say. And
your mood for today.
I wasn't in the mood. I just wasn't. I was like researching. I thought, oh no, save it. Save it.
Like death. It's like, no, let's not talk about death today.
I wasn't sure about like the angle that I wanted to take it from, but we will come back to that topic, which obviously I'm not going to reveal. So instead we have a super light, chitty chatty topic.
We clearly like this.
But we're going to give you I'm going to give you some facts about it. I'm going to give you some kind of different insights.
All right.
And I'm going to explain why, but I think you're going to know in a heartbeat why I'm bringing this up.
Okay.
So this is based off of something that happened in pop culture, not that recently, say like last year. So I have wanted to do this topic for a while.
Okay.
But the question is...
What's the question, Claire?
Should you get back with your ex?
Ooh.
So, I wanted to talk about this because of JLo and Ben Affleck.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
so JLo and Ben Affleck got back together. I actually researched a bit of the relationship timeline.
I love you like timeline of JLo and Ben Affleck relationship.
Literally. So
honestly, quite fascinating.
Yeah.
How they managed to do this, right?
Well, just if you didn't know, we'll just go into the bit, you know.
In case you don't know who Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are.
Yeah. Also, stick with us because it's not going to be about JLo and Ben Affleck. I'm just explaining kind of like why and their kind of thing.
All right.
So JLo is obviously JLo, needs no introduction. Ben Affleck is an actor. They actually originally dated back in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
they were engaged in 2002. Did you know that? Did you know they were engaged?
I don't remember that.
But we were like 12
when
that, so it's like, you know.
And they were so huge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, wow, pop culture moment. Iconic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they broke up in 2004. They broke up, I think, crucially, they broke up because of media pressure.
Right.
That was why.
Yeah.
They went on to marry other people. Ben Affleck married Jennifer Garner. Had kids. And JLo married Mark Anthony.
Yeah. And someone else, right? No, she was engaged.
She's been married a few. Alex Rodriguez
and then P. Diddy as well was before.
Diddy.
Yeah, they were.
But that was before.
I think they were engaged. Yeah, that was before Ben Affleck.
I think that was before Ben Affleck, wasn't
it? All right.
But
I think there was a dancer as well.
Else in the late 90s, didn't she?
A dancer. I think a famous dancer.
So anyway, she loves that.
Yeah.
So basically they went on to have like marriages, kids with different people.
Yeah.
Those marriages broke down. They reunited in 2021 and then they got married in 2022.
Crazy.
And other examples of celebrities that have got back together are Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. Don't really care about them.
Yeah.
Riri and Drake.
Nope.
Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom.
They
actually broke up for a brief time and then they got back together.
Oh, really?
I was reading an article and I have some thoughts based off of, you know, what this is. Dr. Jen Mann was saying. She is the author of
Jen Man, like man, like a man.
Man, but double N.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes it a bit better, I guess.
She wrote The Relationship Fix, which is a book.
It's a book.
So she set out some stuff which I think we'll go into in a little bit. But what is your initial thought on this topic? Should you get back with an ex? Cancel that.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the terms and conditions of how conditions.
What you mean if
like how everything ended? I guess it really because I
so.
feel like it's really. I mean, I think it's psychologically fucked up when you go back with someone that it hurt you, right? Which it happens, of course, but like if you broke up with someone that was really bad and then 10 years pass and then you go back with someone that was very toxic, I find like really like bad mentally, I guess, because can you like clear out all the bad things that happen if that's the case? You know what I mean?
I don't know, because I think that's like 2 points on that. I think that's different, and this is one of the things that Dr. Jen Mann actually said, is that it's actually really different from like, you know, for example, if you had to move cities or like Ben and Jen, like the media pressure got too much. But if we're talking about normal people examples, like say you have to move to like Manchester for a job and that's the only reason why you broke up, then maybe. But there is another thing, which is, are you stuck in an unhealthy relationship cycle and therefore it's toxic? And then I don't think that's probably worth getting back together. But then shouldn't we be open to people changing?
Like no second chances to anyone. No one deserves a second chance.
I'm guessing you've never got back with an ex then. I guess we don't need to ask that. And so it's like, no.
I'm joking. Like no one deserves a second chance in this planet. You fucked up.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, that's a really good question. No, I think I have never get back. I mean, no, I had a relationship that was back and forward back in the day, but it wasn't like break up and going back. It was more like, you know,
toxic
the period
cycle.
of times like we broke up, toxic cycle that you're stuck in this forever, whatever. That's a thing that's different. But I had never had the opportunity, and I don't think I want to have the opportunity to go back with someone that I finished. I think personally, I find when like period of your life, it's like close, you just, you know, open it again, like why? I always think like it's good to move to new stuff. Even though there's some people say like, oh, but it's good to like be with someone that already you know than know someone new. But I don't quite agree with that. I think it's, unless really you feel like there's some unfinished business there and the person really, you feel, oh my God, that person is my soulmate, and it don't work because of time, because sometimes that's true as well. I guess timing, sometimes it happens and maybe the time wasn't right for you too. But I think there's a lot of layers there.
I think it has to be the reason, right? You know, because if somebody like cheated or broke up with you like really badly, I think, and it's true, in this article I was reading, they were saying that it's actually, I don't know, maybe we can take this to a more broader thing of like, can people change? Because they were saying that, you know, if there was like an issue that caused you to break up before, like an issue in the relationship, like most likely that isn't going to go away.
True.
So you need to kind of be aware of that. But a lot of people do reconcile, truly. Like, but I wonder if like there's something about, you know, maybe there can be a very real connection that you want to get back to. Or is it just like comfort? Of like,
I think most of the time it's comfort, you know, because I think like new relationships are in any extent, I mean friendship or love relationship or whatever relationship, they're hard. It's a lot of work, and maybe you think, and I think people think about like how long it will take for you to get that far with that person, you know, like if you know, which I think depends, but I think if you're with someone for 3 years, you know this person in theory enough, and then you start again, you're like, oh my God, how long it would take me to get to that level with this new person, which I think is a fair enough point. But I think we spoke about this before. I don't think like time equals qualities a lot of the times. Maybe you've been with someone for 5 years and you don't know them as much. You will know a person after 6 months because the relationship is maybe it's deeper, or it's a different moment of your life. You have more tools to understand someone else. So I think that plays a part there. But I don't know. I feel that's maybe it's like a fear of people. I do feel maybe it comes from fear. Like, oh my God, like it's maybe a bigger risk to start with a new person, and maybe then feel like, oh, it may end, so you're gonna be again start. But
it's true.
That's how I see it.
I think it's that thing of like, you know what you're dealing with. We also don't stay friends with our ex. I was thinking about that.
True.
Neither of us have stayed friends with our exes.
I mean, I have.
I have.
Well, I haven't. It's not like I'm the opposite of friends. Well, maybe, but not with all of them. But
you
know,
don't have like you don't really have contact, and a lot of people do stay in contact with their exes.
That's true, though.
So I think there's something
seems to be healthy as well.
But then I don't know. I really don't know where I stand on that either.
Maybe because we're a bit like, okay, well, we're closing the door. Bye.
I think I'm really bad for that.
I think we're that type of person. Like we need to kind of like we move on. It's a new chapter, and then what is there, it's there. We don't need to like be so attached to these old chapters. Maybe we're a bit more like when we're done. Game over.
I think another thing about it is that like not only like you obviously have to kind of like put a lot of attention on that person, like has that person changed if you're going to reconcile, but also you think about yourself, and I think that's why I think I wouldn't get back with an ex, because it's like that version of me is gone.
Oh, good point.
You know, and it's like I don't want to relive. You wouldn't relive it. Like it wouldn't be exactly the same relationship again, obviously.
Of course. Which
is a good thing. But, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because imagine this person changed some stuff. Isn't that weird to be in that place to be like, oh, that's different? Like,
exactly.
To change that. It's kind of like weird because it's kind of like your idea of this person is set.
Yeah.
And what if there's some things maybe they change for the better? But it's kind of weird because it's kind of like you left this person in one point, then time happened, you come back and you go back to, don't go back in time, but it's kind of like you are in the same position with this person, but this person is different now. Yeah. So it's a bit weird to kind of like not witness the change of a person progressively, but just like a boom. You know what I mean? It's kind of like weird, like, oh, you do this, or you react like that, like, oh, okay.
And I guess
surprise, you know, like.
If you do go back into it, I guess you should expect to go into it like as if this was a brand new person. But then that doesn't really work like that. You might as well just get a brand new person anyway.
I was curious to hear like what Jen Man was saying about the 3 R's.
Well,
remember like the Rosalia and Alejandro.
The 4 R's.
4, sorry.
The 4 R's.
Okay.
So, first of all, they're basically like 4 steps that you would need to take for getting back with your ex. If you wanted
like a guide.
It's like a guide
guide
to getting back with your ex. So if you're listening, watching this, and you're like, the one that got away, I really want to reconnect.
There's a guide, guys.
Get out a pen. So Dr. Jen Man says that step 1 is remorse. A heartfelt apology comes from the realization of the hurt that you have caused. Saying I'm sorry is not enough.
It's not.
These are just words. A meaningful apology verbalizes the understanding of the pain. So let's say this is worst case scenario. I guess she's taking us through worst case scenarios. Say somebody cheated, let's say, and then you're going to reconnect. So remorse. 2, responsibility. Taking responsibility is showing ownership of your actions as well as their impact, even if the pain caused was unintentional. When you take responsibility, you let the other person know that you understand the gravity of the situation. So again, it's kind of like a deeper apology, you know.
It's kind of like, hey, I know I did this. I see you. I see what I did.
I have so many comments, but I'll hold it. Wait. 3, recognition. It's important to provide a forum to talk through what has happened. This is my nightmare. And process everyone's feelings. So basically she's saying like go to couples therapy, I guess. Right. When people know that their pain has been heard, it helps them to heal. But that is true. Yeah. When somebody
when it's
like
addressed.
Exactly. Then you're like, okay. So the 4th and final step, remedy. The person making amends must repair the damage that has been caused and take action to avoid repeating the bad behaviour. I have a comment. Having a plan of action that addresses the issues that cause the person to behave badly is a good start. Sometimes that can mean ditching social media, switching jobs, attending therapy, or going to rehab.
Wow. Okay.
So it's basically like an action plan. I think I don't know if this is like the wrong attitude to have, because I have another thing to ask you, but like I was gonna say like it's quite a lot of work, isn't it?
Like, who has the fucking time?
I mean, for me, like, if somebody, if like your partner cheated on you and you came to me and asked me, shall I give them another chance? I will say absolutely not.
Like, no, you fucking dare to
block them. Can't move house. Run change away. Your name. Like, literally, like.
I get it.
I don't know. Maybe this is like a very bad view of like humans. I think people can change if they really, really want to. But I always remember this quote that was like always like floating around Instagram, and it's like, don't date potential. And that really stuck with me because I think I'd always find myself in these situations where I'd be like, oh, he has so much potential. I can fix him. I can help him. And it's like, that's not your job. Yeah, you're not 100%. Someone's parent. So 100%. You need to date somebody that is definitely not perfect, but is as near perfect or their faults are manageable for you. Yeah. Because we're not going to change. Like, we're 32. Exactly. Like, we will fine-tune our personality a little bit, but not that much. And that's
the core of things that won't change.
Yeah.
Are we maybe a little bit like
cynical,
and also like delicate flowers? You know, like once we get hurt, we're like.
I know. I was thinking that.
You won't hurt me. I mean, the delicate flowers actually would be like. I think we are very sensitive in the sense of like, wow, once we get that feeling of being like. Cheated in this case, of being like played with or something where like, oh, we cannot go back to the place we used to be. It's kind of like a little scratch there. So maybe it's that's personality thing that I think maybe we're similar on that. So I guess if something as bad or something bad happened in the relationship, or maybe the person got aggressive or something like that, I don't know how I can just like go back and be like, oh yeah, I forgot this, or I forgive this, and like it's gone. You know what I mean?
But I think we both like taken a lot, you know, because you've been in a relationship where you took a lot, and I was in a relationship where I took a lot. But I think I've noticed with both of us, we get to a point where we're like, okay, and now fuck you. I mean, I can't speak fully for you, and I didn't know you then. But for me, definitely, I was like, taking it, I can work with this. And then I was like, actually, you know what, just fuck this.
I think that's maybe you cannot go back.
And then I'm done. I think I have to know that I'm really, really done. You know,
I can. The boiling point kind of thing.
And then it's hard to describe. Do you have that? It's hard to describe that feeling of just knowing that you're completely done.
Yeah. It's a bit of like a hopes. I don't know. It's a complicated one. I don't know. Have you met anyone? I mean, without names, do you have a friend who met anyone that has gone back with their exes?
Yeah, actually. Well, it's not somebody that I really know that well, but it's, I mean, one of the people in the relationship I know, and she was actually telling me that her and her husband got married really young, and they had kids, and everything was going great. Like they had like a house and 2 cars, and like they were comfortable and blah blah blah. And he like did something that really, really hurt her, and she was just like, she initially thought like, oh, I can't leave because I've got all of this, and then she was just like, actually, like kind of similarly to what we were saying, like she was just like, fuck this. So she took her kids and she left.
A lot.
And they were like co-parenting for like 3 or 4 years.
That's quite a lot of time.
And then they reconciled, and then she went back to the house, and that was it. And they've been together for 30 years.
30.
They're celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary this year.
Hell. That's a successful fucking story.
So, you know, I don't quite know what he did, but take it that it was quite bad, but that obviously worked. Yeah. And I would like to believe, like, I don't know, like, if, you know, shouldn't we have room for, like, forgiveness and...
Absolutely not. Not forgiveness. No, yeah, I think...
Actually, sorry, what I was going to say was that I think we can have room for forgiveness. I think the forgiving part is actually not the tricky part, I find. It's the feelings of change and also the trust as well.
The trust, which I think is almost impossible to recover.
How do you recover trust in any relationship? You know?
Which is, as you say, it's like, it's a blessing and curse being like that, because again, people fucked up as well, and we are all humans, and we just have bad moments, and we have maybe moments that our heads, they're going to the wrong places, and we do something we didn't mean, and doesn't maybe that person deserve a chance and to be like, oh, I did wrong? Because, you know, also, like, the truth is, no everyone could be always super stable. No everyone is like stable mentally, in any like context stable, and like this is the moments that maybe things happen, and there's like, it's, can you like give the opportunity to the person to kind of be like, be better? I just feel like then there's another element to this, like maybe it's like the feeling part of this, like more like, what if this person actually feels there's something unique? Because I think a lot of people say like, oh, I've never met again a person like that. that makes me feel that way.
I think that
connection, maybe you have that connection with one person only. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that because I think that connection will be only in a lifetime. But maybe that comes from movies as well,
Maybe.
Which I think
true.
Is a bit true.
That kind of like Hollywood thing.
Yeah, love only happened once and that will only happen once in your life.
But
you
it's
never
true.
love
Like,
the same.
you do have special connections with people. Yeah. Definitely you have special connections with people. But it's that thing again of like we shed versions of ourselves and they're shedding versions of themselves. True. So it's like that thing of like, and I also do believe, and I think this is what happens in a breakup, I think we, like humans, I don't know why we do this, but it's something it's about like evolution or our brain. We always look back on everything with rose-tinted glasses.
Always.
So we always idolize, and we tend to like forget.
I think that's my biggest fear, I think that's why I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this because of that. Because I think I tend to be like that I guess like we all have this like. When I look back to things, I always remember the good things because why we want to remember the bad things. It's better to keep the good memories, I guess.
Yeah, true.
After a point, obviously when it's too fresh or you're still like healing or you need to like work on it, of course. But then after a period of time, why you need to remember the bad things? If something will come up, hopefully it will be a good thing. So when you see everything with this like light, obviously it looks better because you won't focus on the bad things or you will try to put them away. So that's why like, go back to this person because la 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 la. But then, then the reality hits, I guess.
And I think that's why people really struggle to break up, because I think you're right. Like when you've broken up and you're really missing them, I think it is really important to remember the bad stuff. Yeah. Because then I think we can be like, oh, just remember everything good. It's so hard. Yeah. But it's like, actually you need to, that's why when you need friends to be like, no. Yeah, and then you kind of get over that. And then you're like, actually, like I remember the good stuff, but I don't want them back.
Yeah. Because I do believe that you can have a lot of good stuff with a lot of different people, but the bad stuff, it's really specific and it can be really like life-changing as well, you know what I mean? Like when someone shows you their bad side or what they can do to you in a very bad way, that's what it needs. That's like
we need to remember.
We need to remember. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you can meet a lot of person that can all give you good stuff, as you say, your version of that moment probably do things that was the best things ever, and that will keep happening. But the bad things are things that actually they hurt you, and that shows the character and what the person
it's true
actually
and
is.
That for sure won't change, because I think I don't think so. Character changes. I always think one thing that doesn't change is like how people react when they're like down or when like they're in the wrong or like their back is against the wall. Like that's really telling, I think, of someone's character.
I do have to say, like, I think there's like something delicate to say, but there's something, it's my perception. But I do believe if someone maybe was not the right person because maybe it was like an addict, has an addiction or in any type, and then that person maybe, went to rehab, clear themselves, and literally they're out of the whatever it was for a long time, and it's actually that's the real version. I think that could be different.
Agreed.
That's something that could be like because you were in this situation that you were not fully yourself, or you were not the best version you could be. Yeah. And then after a period of time, you actually are, and then it's like, okay, I think I do believe it's good to maybe, if you consider to give a second opportunity, because then that's a place where I can see proper change, because maybe, when you're under, I don't know, if you are under any drugs or whatever, you're addicted, that's not a good representation of who you are in any possible way, I guess.
It's true. Definitely.
So I guess that would be the scenario. I would be like, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I thought now.
I think you could always like live a little bit with like the fear of it happening again.
True.
But then again, like if you really believe that like that's the person that you're really meant to be with, and if they didn't do anything too harmful, then I get it. You can be like, well, you've done all the steps to like go through to rehab, you've done therapy.
You do worry,
But aside from that, like you're an amazing person.
And we're ready to,
because I think there does need to be a bit of room for like, we're all not perfect. It just depends on like how imperfect you are and what somebody else can take, kind of
honestly,
thing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much my topic. Any kind of closing thoughts about it?
Don't go back with your exes.
I think I would say.
I don't know. I'm not sold by the idea to go back with your ex. I don't think it's like something like. I'm like, there's too many humans in this world, you know. Undecided about going back with an ex. I think it's a difficult topic.
I personally feel like if you want to go back to an ex, you need to look at the reason why and really accept that people probably don't change that much. But if you're willing,
the whys, right? Because I think why, like literally, like what this do? Because I think like sometimes, obviously, I mean, romance, obviously, like love, we tend to romanticize things because that's part of love, relationship sometimes. But when you're in a relationship and you go back to a relationship, I think you have to be a bit more pragmatic as well. And the whys, why you open the door again to this person that will affect your whole life again. And I think that's the key part there, like being a bit more like, what is it gonna give me now? What it will give me now it didn't give me before, like why I'm going, you know, I think that's a bit more of that.
Would be important to me if I was going to reconcile with an ex would be, I would actually want to know that they've dated other people. Because it's like, I wouldn't want to feel like you're only dating me because you're too scared to date other people, or like it didn't work out with anyone else. Like, it would be good to know that, yes, you've experimented and you've actually figured out, like, I've had this many number of dates, but you're still the person. I think if there's like nothing, if you've been separate for a year and like nothing had happened in that year, I'd be like, well, absolutely not. You know,
I agree. I think it's a good point.
It's about, I think what happens in the gap is important as well. You know?
Agree. Like a revision.
And in like Jen and Ben's case, clearly they had 20 years.
They have kids. Family experience.
So there's something between them. Clearly, because they lasted 20 years.
It's like the reason why probably they're back together.
Yeah, there's probably something really special between them.
It's kind of like
there's probably something very special between them.
And the growth, obviously, as you say, like they have the life going on, so probably.
I always forget that Ben dated Ana de Armas. Do you remember that?
That's crazy, right? That's like a weird period of time, right?
Really, really rogue. Anyway.
Nice couple though.
JLo and Ben made it back together, and that's that. So guys,
I hope someone has like a story of going back to the exes, because I would like to know. Like, please, like, write it on the YouTube or channel.
And if
or whatever,
you feel like
Instagram.
share if it was any different. Was it better? Was it worse?
It was worse.
Are you glad? Are you still with them?
Give us the details because very interested in that.
Well,
remember
guys,
to like, subscribe, comment whenever you hear you listen to our podcast, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, whatever it is. Please remember to give us a little review because it helps us a lot.
Yes. See you next week, guys.
Bye bye.